Okay. Welcome everyone to our Tuesday's December 3rd wallet development and testing session. And Arvin had mentioned at the beginning that he has some news for everyone. So Arvin, you're welcome to provide us with some updates.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes. Good morning, Arvin.
Yep.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. It may need, I need to restart the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So as Arvin is, boy, let me see if I can pause this. Maybe a little background information for Frank, who's joined us. Oh, Arvin was quick. He's got
Okay.
a strong connection. Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Okay. Share my screen. Can you hear my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me demonstrate this week's update. Let's show the first part. I will change. This week I just finished the basic check balance and transfer function when we in the local host. So when our network are on the local host, or you change it through this selector, then you click dashboard and refresh it. What's wrong? It seems okay.
Seems that you have no new deploys, right?
Let me check the R node. Oh, this arrow.
Yeah. So
No new
probably valid after block number is not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's just demonstrate the in the localhost function.
Yeah, maybe you can start from the beginning and.
Yeah. I just restart the R node. This is R node.
And you deleted all the files, right?
Okay, let me delete all the file.
Yeah.
Just leave the data bolt, and I just restart the bolt container. It's a node Docker container, and then let's check the log. They are all wait for the it's okay.
It started.
Yeah, let's just check the first with this. Yeah, we can see the wallet. It's this one. Yeah, and this one. This function work well on Thomas web wallet, and then try it on the My RChain wallet. You can see your balance is the same with this part, and let's try the transfer function. At first, the rev balance is 100,000, and check the balance, get this address, and copy it, send, And we have a please confirm your payment dialog and make sure, oh, this is a small error. I will fix it later. And check your receive address, this error information, and then click confirm. Then type in your password to confirm it yourself and click next. Then it's sent success. And you can check the balance. The balance will be, okay, less 10, and then check this balance. Okay, we get 10 plus. That's the My RChain Wallet worked well on the local R-node part. So this part, it can be worked well when we connect to the local R-node network, and because when we connect to the testnet, we will meet some problem, because we are not the validator, so we can't make the deploy. And so on the testnet part, I was just working on a WebSocket solution, and Thomas work on a web API. So I will finish the make the WebSocket solution first to get the data from the test network, and then we can just transfer the whole the rev with the test net and or on your local network. That's the whole basic whole progress in this week. And I just work on the WebSocket with the R-node by now. So you can see here is some deploy information here. And on the My RChain Wallet.com, you can just use for the local host when you combine the Evo and the R node. So if you combine these two, you can just use it in the My RChain Wallet.com. It's a production version. That's
nice.
that's
This looks good.
This week's progress.
Arvin, can you just say a few words about how WebSockets is working? What are you reading from WebSockets?
I just use your method. Your code that said to me.
Yeah, we can check if you know if everything is clear.
Okay, by the way, I just also finished the Chinese version.
Nice.
Yeah, they are all the Chinese version.
Good, very good.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, this is great, Arvin. Hey, Arvin, question. In your list of transactions, are you reading those transactions from the blockchain, or are you remembering the transactions that you did in your wallet?
I just get the data from the blockchain. Because let me explain the whole flow. I get whole the account balance from the method is the wallet check balance function, and in this way I just use the check balance rev balance function. It just send a deploy and then get data from deploy this function. So in this version of the MRW, we just send the check balance function again and again to receive the data from the blockchain. And I think in the final version, maybe there should be a smart contract. I can just send a message to it and then just return the true data. So you can see when I just deploy amount of rev and click and click, this will be loading because it's just waiting to read the data from the blockchain.
And for transactions, we don't have the solution yet. So for now, right, you don't have anything in transactions part, right?
No, it's not about transaction. It's about the check balance.
Yeah. But to answer to Ned questions, the transactions part we don't have it yet, right?
Okay.
Yeah. We can wait. Maybe there will be some solution later, and I will continue to make it better with that solution.
Okay, cool. No, this is great.
For now, yeah. For now, we can store each transaction locally, right? Without reading anything from the blockchain.
Yeah.
That would be useful. Definitely. Yeah.
So let me just show the basic WebSocket part. This code is what Thomas said to me. It's about when you open the WebSocket connection and or close it, or when it have some error. The main part is on message function that we get data from the R node, and we just freeze it two parts. It's because R node event is a more complex, so I just log the deploys about deploy ID. Here it is. In my thoughts, we can after we deploy a check balance function, and we will get the check rev deploy ID. So maybe we can use this deploy ID to save it to the local host. Here it is, and wait the data from the R node, and because these are all deploy ID. So if we get the deploy ID is the same with the deploy ID is sent from R node. In this part I just console the point log success, and I can use the
Get data.
Get data from to get the real data from the R node.
And so
this is my thought.
That last line of code, the if deploy ID equals payload, is that just checking whether or not that the transaction went through?
Yeah, it's my thought. I'm not sure it's right, or there some better way to handle the this part.
So maybe I can just summarize the whole process, right? So when you push a deploy to R node, the signature of this deploy is this deploy ID, and this is in a sense some kind of request ID. When you send something to change the state of the network, and you have this deploy ID as a request ID. Like this is something that you can ask Node and search in the block to find if this if your change is applied to the global change. And
So with that push, you're changing the state of the network. With that push,
sorry, can
you're saying that when you push data onto this blockchain, you're actually changing the state of the virtual machine.
Yes, this is exactly. You're pairing your code, your rolling code, to all the other rolling state. So the rolling code and the state of this virtual machine is almost the same, right? So when you create another deploy, another contract part of the rolling code, you're just doing you're pairing your code with the rest of the network.
Yeah, so it's almost like an abstract layer of code.
Yeah. And after you do this deploy, this is like the first step. So when you want to be sure that your deploy is applied, you need to wait. So in this example, this is WebSocket API. So you're listening for blocks that are created and finalized, and after you find your deploy in some block, right? Then you need to read the hash of this block and wait for this block to be finalized. And then you know that your data is cannot be changed in the future. It's another deploy. And then in this moment, you can ask for Arnold for the data on this concrete channel that you're writing in your.
But you need the hash. You need the hash of that block, correct?
Yeah.
And then my question from here would be, I would actually ask, is there a way to turn this type of logical code, to turn this type of logic into pseudo code, and then convert that into almost English?
So the first the idea of Web API, which we want to have, is to abstract this part. So that you can just deploy something on a node and just wait for this connect on the same connection, and get the data when this is added to the block and finalized. But as you said, explain this in plain English is something that would be really very useful. Yeah. We must have this complete explanation.
Can I repeat what I understood from this description? So maybe
sure.
Other will confirm or... so basically, what we are doing here is we are deploying the code and waiting for this code to be included in a block, and then waiting for a block to be finalized. So WebSockets API abstracts this, and we only know that we are deploying the code, and we get some response. And the all stuff with acquiring the hash of a block where the deploy is included and waiting for this block to be finalized is excluded from the point of view of our client user of this library. But the underlying changes, underlying things that are happening is including deploying a block and waiting for this block to be finalized. So does this make sense?
Yeah. And now we have this separately in gRPC protocol and WebSocket. So it's a little
That's
bit
awesome.
Because,
So next week I will work on this WebSocket part to connect the My RChain Wallet to the test network and make the transfer function and the check balance function can work on the test network. So after this step, maybe we can use my RChain wallet to test the testnet about the transfer and the check balance.
Nice. Yeah.
I wonder does currently balance acquired via listen for data at name? Because I've heard that Rafael has some issues with the length of this call. It took too many time for him to get back response from listen for data at name. And what's the situation here?
Listen.
So yeah, we are using listen at data at name, and I think Arvin also using similar code as I to specify when you get the data on some channel, you specify the depth as a parameter. So this depth is, how many blocks in the past should Arnode look to see if can get the data on this channel. I know this can be a little confusing, but if you're writing something on a channel and this is added in a block 1, for example, later if you want to read the data on the block 100, you need to specify depth at least 100 so that Node can search all of these blocks in the past. So what Rafael is doing, he's specifying maximal value for depth, because he don't care about in which block is the data. He just care about that he gets the data, and that's the problem, because Node, if it has many blocks, it will load everything to the memory and then start searching for the data. So we are still working on the correct solution. What to do, and what will be efficient. And for now, you can always create another deploy and just request the data from the next block. But this is not ideal, because you need to pay some revs.
You have to pay.
Yeah. So
I see.
Maybe
I
we
wonder.
have some kind of index for the rev balancer or something else. Yeah,
I wonder. You said me a very interesting idea. Actually, is it possible to spin up a read-only node and make some eval calls in the rnode REPL to extract the data? So, for example, if you implement that HTTP interface in Rolang, so you just make on your read-only node some eval calls that should send some data on the HTTP endpoint.
Yeah.
Is this possible?
Yeah, it's not possible, but yeah, yeah, this is something I would like to see, and even better, I was discussing this with Rao yesterday. If you have your
that's very cool stuff.
If you have your own read-only node, right?
Yeah.
He's in sync with the whole network, right? But why you should not be able to just deploy something to your local read-only node? I mean, read-only, right? It's read-only for all the others, but why should be read-only for you?
Yeah, it should just not be able to propose a block.
Yeah. You can just deploy on your local imaginary network, right? This deploy will not be published or anything, but it could do whatever you want, right? And then you could just roll back and be in sync with the network. So this kind of stuff is really interesting. But yeah, we cannot do this yet. So
yeah, this awesome.
And also what you said in eval mode, we are not using the rolling part, which is not connected to blockchain. And this is interesting because, yeah, if we have directly access to block API, and we can, you know, do deploys, or why your read-only node cannot accept your deploy and just, you know, give it to the validators that are, you know, will publish more in the fastest way, or this kind of stuff. So
yeah, and this had been new to me. I had been familiar with my Ether wallet. I'd used that in the past, maybe 10, 20 times. And this is the first I'm seeing of My RChain Wallet. And I think it's honestly a extremely nice interface compared to My Ether wallet, because I know they have a great UX team over there, and they will just roll out code after code, and they do a fantastic job. So I hope we get that same momentum behind My RChain Wallet.
I just
Arvin did a great job. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, indeed.
Very good. Any other thoughts or comments? So, Ned, I guess right now with the RChain platform, the biggest issue is working through the replay issue, and once that's bug has been resolved, then we'll have a pubnet. Does anyone have any updates as far as how that I guess it's the replay bug, the status of that, and status of the pubnet?
No, I mean, I
think
don't
you
know.
have the.
I don't know. Maybe NetZipper has an update.
So basically, people are working on this stuff. So there is a per validator vault that we need to, as a first step, to enable mergeability. Sorry, guys, I have a kid here.
Oh, no, no worries. Take your time.
Yeah, and he is near the road. Yeah, so they have to fix some tests. So after that, we should improve mergeability. So we can enable validator to propose blocks simultaneously. And after that, we should, as I know, declare public beta.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of work on performance side.
Right.
Reliability side, we detect several bugs that we should fix. So if you look into the Jira, you can see all stuff that we need to be done.
Okay.
There are tickets under Mercury hardening and Mercury stability labels.
But once we get the mergeability implemented, that's the last of the feature set that's going to go into this code base. Now it's truly just hardening. That's how I understood it.
This is how I understand this as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we should know that there is a further work on the mergeability, so we will improve.
Okay.
Mergeability is improving the throughput, so it's
okay. So we have at least a foundation for mergeability that will be implemented, and then it's a matter of
it's a never-ending task. You should do before.
Exactly. So it'll be a constant improvement over time as mergeability improves. Then that performance will improve as well. Okay. Well, good. You know, these are big milestones technically that we're overcoming or achieving. So this is all great news. And so last week we were talking about a block explorer. So I guess it was actually tool sets, and block explorer was one of the tools that we had talked about. So that would be maybe something. Do we see? Well, tool sets.
Yeah, I think Will is working on the Block Explorer. So
is he? Oh, okay, so
he's not
there's
here, but he did some changes on the gRPC API or bottom-up definitions. So get blocks now include some more information, and it's unified with the get block. So
so
I know there's a block explorer that was created by Gavin Wood, who was the chief technology officer of Ethereum. He actually led the yellow paper development, and he published this new block explorer called Polkascan that apparently is interoperable between chains. So even though it's running through the Polkadot network, it should theoretically be able to interact with other chains. So that sounds exciting. How it would work out, I'm not entirely sure.
yeah, maybe we can use something or you know. And then Block Explorer is really you just go through a parent-child relationship of a DAG, right? And in other chains, this is really a chain. So we have a DAG here. So it's a little different. So I'm not. Yeah, I would like to know if it supports a DAG, not just a chain.
so that's a Block Explorer on the Polkadot network. Was that correct?
Yeah, Polkadot.
Okay. So once we get some version of the Block Explorer up and running and connected to My RChain Wallet, then we'll be able to, in the transaction history, truly be able to see those transactions. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So one part is just to be able to go through blocks, right? To have a hash of parents and navigate to the whole deck. But another part is to get the data, you know, what are inside the block or these deploys, or
Right.
not only deploys, but so-called event logs, where all the execution is written. So we have, as part of the reporting API, trace API. And this trace API is really one endpoint that where you can just supply the hash, I think hash from the block, and you will get the whole trace of the whole execution. But it's not easy to use because the code is you need to parse all in code, and you know, but something in this direction will be available.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
So yeah, and I think we mentioned Will Quee's name last week as well. So, you know, I'd be curious just to have a discussion, you know, a group discussion with Will Quee to get his thoughts on the Block Explorer, where he's at, you know, timelines and, you know, functions and capabilities, those types of things. What I'm going to do is I'm just, and I've spoken with Will Quee in the past, so I'm going to connect with him on Discord and extend an invitation for him to possibly join us. Now he's in China as well, so he's going to be a late night hour. So depending on what his availability is, but hopefully we'll be able to coordinate. But that would be, you know, I think as a group, that would be, you know, a kind of neat to get different individuals, different developers who are working on the core platform to join us to get, you know, so, you know, talk about different topics. So, you know, Will, he can talk about the Block Explorer. Last week we were talking about different developer tools. You know, to have Mike Stay perhaps come in and share some thoughts on that. You know, that type of thing. So that would certainly, you know, keep the motor running in this group. So
yeah, and idea is also that we have some templates that you can easily use and build your own thing, right? On one side, we have My RChain Wallet with all the features, but on the other side, we can have some very lightweight wallet or applications, right? Raphael
right.
has a mini wallet, which is like a very simple application, but all of these things I see as templates or examples how you can build your own thing, because the two basic operations are something that are like entrance to the blockchain, right? You have this deploy and read, and this is how you interact, and this is where the entry point of authentication is. So after you go after you go to this point, then all of your RChain code is really is some kind of cloud where everything is
Right.
it's like a game where you can get your 3 lives and when you deploy something, and then if you lose it inside the blockchain, you're dead. So
Yeah, I think that's a great way of explaining it. I even look at it from the perspective of this is such a novel technology that we are on the frontier of building the next generation of web. That what comes out of these wallets will eventually be the backbone for a new financial infrastructure, especially when we start seeing stable coins come in, that is tokens that hold the actual US currency. I think once we reach that milestone of being able to have a stable coin, there's just going to be a landslide of new developments that come through, not just from wallet development, but also from new areas that are unreached.
Yeah, and Frank, you mentioned about it, the new internet. Raphael, he's on the call, but he's just listening today. He's on a train, but has a project he's working on called DAPI, and you can go to dapi.tech to get sort of an introduction to his vision of what the new internet, a new decentralized internet would look like. So Raphael, he's a developer in France who's been developing on our chain platform.
Yeah, I actually reached out to him yesterday, and he told me he'd be happy personally helping build my web app, because I'm focused right now. As of now, I'm trying to build a landscape for technical writing and turning technical writing into layperson terms. So that's
okay.
Going through code bases, churning code into pseudocode, and then churning that pseudocode into plain English, so that non-developers can almost have the same understanding as these leading developers do.
Now that's a new word. I'm not familiar with pseudocode.
I think he means pseudocode.
Oh, pseudocode. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Pseudocode.
So in a sense, this is like a job of Rolling to be some language that you can express your data or to query your data.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the dream. This is one of the dreams of Rolang as a general purpose everything language, right? Yeah, I mean, the architecture's there. We just need funding and the platform to make it happen. But also, like, making it like a general purpose query language is exciting too.
Yeah, part of this is a type system, and this is exactly what Greg is now working on, and this new paper will be published exactly for that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like this financial transactions is just the first part, right? What we can do on RChain is much more, right? You want to stream your movie directly from the blockchain. Right? That's the goal of RChain, to store the data on the blockchain, not just some hash of some off-chain execution, but to store the whole data, everything on the blockchain. And this is not the problem for RChain.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Greg was saying recently that he and Mike Stay have an actual working, I guess, pseudocode of Ladle, and Ladle is a whole nother piece of the puzzle that we don't really talk about, but
Yeah,
laws.
this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What's a law as
Law,
this?
law
No,
is a
laws.
logic has a
Logic.
distributed law. Yeah.
Yeah, logic is which I think the world is. I mean, that'll be transformational when that's embedded in some code.
Yeah, we can use it in many different ways. Not only for the blockchain stuff. For example, we can write protocol specifications in Erlang, and this will be automatically formally verified. So, for example, if we have HTTP written in Erlang, this means we can easily transform from different protocols and be sure that everything is working correctly without testing. So.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need really great tech writers to explain this all.
So Frank, so this morning, this session we're on now, this is the web development and testing session. And later on today, I'm in the Eastern New York time, so I'm just going to use New York time. So at 3 p.m. Is the DApp Developer Working Group. Now, and I put in the chat our logs from for both the wallet group and the DApp Developer Group, so you can kind of see the history of our conversations in the past. Now, the one later on today, sometimes it's well attended, other times not. What we can do is, well, sometimes we've been combining both sessions into just this morning session. So it's whether we have a session later on today, it's always tentative, but we'll see who shows up and what. I don't have an agenda prepared, so we'll just kind of just we'll just kind of see what happens. So, but just to let you know that, yeah, that's later on today.
All right.
I'm never sure of the schedule if we actually meet later. And I know at 12 we have the DApp developers, and then at 1 the DAPI developer.
So that was a one-time session.
Okay, so, can we take that off the community calendar?
Yes. So I'm going to put in the chat for Frank's benefit the our community calendar. We had some issues. It was somehow deleted. All the information was deleted, and we've been restoring it.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, and apparently so the room we're in right now is a fellow by the name of Jim Whitescarver. He's one of the early pioneers of all this, along with, he's been around, started with Greg back in the day, but he's been in technology, over 40 years. He's retired now. But this is his room that we're in. So a lot of the sessions are in this Zoom room. I have a code to make myself host. So does Gary Coulter. He's another pioneer in this space. Gary's on the call. But the calendar, there should be, based on your time zone that you're in. So if you're in Central Time, I believe, you should be able to, there should be a Central time zone version of the calendar available. How all that, where you can get that, and all the mechanics, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that's but the calendar is helpful as to know what's going on. So there's RChain, and then there's the Collab, and the Collab is a community-based. Well, it's the community that Jim created, and the Collab has a Discord server as well. So as you kind of find your way navigating through the world of RChain, the co-op, and the platform, you'll come across the the collab Discord channel, and you've probably already found the DiviDAO YouTube channel, perhaps. And I'll put that.
Yes, I have.
Have you? Okay, so that's.
I have to say, your community, this community as a whole, is probably one of the best communities out there at making real world content, actually having that deployed out to YouTube, and obviously these meetups on Zoom. The amount of information I was able to digest just from YouTube was astounding. Everything from the DevCon talks, talking about monadic design patterns, talking about pi calculus extended into the row calculus. Being able to find all of this on YouTube was astounding.
Exactly. That's what radical transparency does, and that's helped me come along over the past year. Is I think everyone kind of follows that same path, that they're introduced to RChain, the platform, in some form or fashion, then they go searching, and they do the Google search, go onto YouTube, and then
oh yeah, that was me.
You're just like, what in the world? It's like a waterfall, and you're just like, this is unbelievable. And then you go down the rabbit hole, and then you're there for weeks or months, just digesting it. Just getting that. So you had sort of a familiarity. You've been in the blockchain world, so you were kind of familiar with a lot of the terminology and lingo. I came into this I had a sort of a tech background, but new to blockchain. So I had all of that, the terminology and, all of that to kind of get up to speed on, but it's all doable. And that's the exciting part about the RChain project is, just this wealth of content and information, and the community, as you said. I mean, this stuff is, these sessions are going all through the week. It's just how much you have time to connect with, and there's with the calendar, there's some sessions later in the week that got deleted, so maybe I'll try to find some time to get those added. So we have sessions on Friday as well. So those are more technical based, computational calculus, consensus, or I should say consensus followed by a computational calculus sessions. But they're, yeah. So anyways.
And yeah, I was definitely going down that rabbit hole, as you said. And I'm more than happy to be attending any other meetups, co-host, or just group sessions that you guys host.
Yeah, so
nice, and your feedback is really useful. What do you think if
yeah.
Usually we have these sessions and they can last more than an hour. So to watching this, maybe it's not always the easiest thing. So what do you think about having smaller videos, more specific, so maybe we can focus to do this kind of
yeah, Thomas loved it, and that was that idea that you had mentioned a few months back. These shorter demonstration videos that communicate a specific topic, sort of a topic-oriented video. And I think that certainly would be helpful to the community and new individuals. I think there's that element of coordination involved. It kind of gets into sort of maybe the tech marketing piece of it. It's kind of like what we did with Dappy, and Raphael. So we had a specific topic, and it was a video on that topic, and you can find it on YouTube, and searchability, and the SEO and all those aspects. Those are certainly areas that we can improve upon. But yeah, I think these are all great ideas, and I think as we.
And do you mind me asking, the SEO, what does that stand for? I know I've heard of SEO.
Yeah, That my background is more kind of marketing, although I do have kind of a tech background. It's search engine optimization. So when you do all these Google searches, for keywords and the long tail and the short tail keywords, all that is in the domain of marketing, and the searchability of, when you search on a term and it comes to the top of the page as opposed to the bottom of the page or on page 2. That's what's referred to as search engine optimization. The goal to any internet marketer is to have your searches appear at the top of a Google search or a Yahoo or a Bing search. And there's all sorts of different techniques that you can do to achieve that. And all of that is kind of rolled into this world of search engine optimization, and more commonly referred to as SEO.
Okay. At first, I thought it was going to be a variance of the ICO.
Oh,
There was some special, but no,
yeah.
it's sorting out. Okay.
Yeah, and we live in a world of acronyms. It's kind of like being in the military in some regards. ICOs, and
Yeah. SSDD.
yes, yeah, all of these acronyms. So, well, good. We're coming to the top of the hour here. So typically, what happens is, so if I recorded today, and I'll be posting this onto the DiviDAO YouTube channel later in the day. Jim Whitescarver, who's typically the host, he's the one who typically posts the videos. But in any case, they get posted to that DiviDAO channel, and so we'll meet up again for the wallet session, same day, same time next week, and the DApp developer working group will. I'll attend that. We'll show up. Hopefully, we'll see what type of attendance we have. I don't have an agenda. We'll just kind of play it by ear in that regard, and then I'll maybe try to get some of these other clean up the calendar for you. So on Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time in this Zoom room is the consensus session, and that's followed by computational calculi. So I'm thinking, so it's typically 9 a.m. New York time, so that would be 10 a.m. New York time, 9 a.m. Chicago time. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, because you're in Texas, so you're in Central Time. So you're welcome. Right. Yeah, you're welcome to join us. So Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time for the consensus session. So there, it's it's the whole range of consensus topics, from hash graph to highway to Substrate, Polkadot, Cosmos. And then that kind of blends into computational calculi or whatever topic at hand. So that's on Friday.
Yeah, cool. I'd love to talk about Cosmos, Polkadot, and even Tendermint. I think that range of, what do they call it? Byzantine fault tolerance.
Exactly. And we actually have our resident expert on Substrate is Joshi Orndorff. So he's you can find him in the Colab Discord. He actually works for Parity. At one point, he had a Tuesday session where he would discuss Substrate. I don't believe it's been on the calendar for a while, but in Colab, there's actually a Substrate channel for, where you can ask all of your Parity, Substrate, Polkadot, Cosmos questions in that channel. And Joshi, he was a high school physics teacher or a high school computer teacher, so he's in the mindset of an educator. So not only can he explain things that people can understand it, well, he enjoys explaining things, but he can do it in a sense that you can actually understand what taking something that's
Yeah,
technical.
Joshi is actually his GitHub repository was actually one of the first places I learned rolling, where he has the learn by example rolling
Exactly.
set.
Yep, that's Joshi Orndorff. Yeah, he's a tremendous asset. So good, and that's kind of the theme or the vibe that you get from the collab, and also more broadly RChain. It's community members. We're all kind of coming together, helping each other out, making tools and resources that we're all sharing, and we're all just kind of moving everyone up the ladder, helping to kind of increase our understanding and knowledge of what blockchain is, what the RChain platform and all of its components, and more broadly into some of the other blockchain areas as well. So very good. Does anyone have any final thoughts or comments? So, well, great.
Just that if anyone's trying to learn rolling, Joshi Orndorff, learn by example. Great starter.
Exactly. Very good. All right. Thank you, everyone. So we'll be talking soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Take care.